Welcome to Fearless with Jason Whitlock. I am Jason Whitlock, your host, and I need a haircut. I think that's clear as day. I don't know if you can see it on TV, but man, my hair is out of control. Anyway, welcome and happy Wednesday? Tuesday? Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you and yours. So glad you joined me. We have an interesting, awesome show planned for you today. We will react to the Pittsburgh Steelers last night, putting themselves in prime playoff position, beating the Miami Dolphins. I got some interesting thoughts about Mike Tomlin that we'll start the show with. That will include some interesting comments about Mike McDaniel. Jay Skapinac will join us in about 20-25 minutes after I unpack my initial thoughts. Jay, of course, the big Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but there's also some things going on in the National Basketball Association that I want to talk about. There's a video of LeBron James pushing a ref and arguing with a ref, and people are losing their mind, and LeBron should have been thrown out of the game. I don't know how I particularly feel about it, but Skap, I'm sure, will have some thoughts. Cooper Flagg dropped 40 last night. I think they're calling him the youngest rookie to drop 40 or youngest player to ever drop 40. We'll get Skapinac's take on that. OKC, they did lose a game the other day to San Antonio, but people have been having the conversation, are the Thunder just too good for the NBA? Have they made the NBA boring because they're so good? We'll talk with Skap about that. And then I will end the show irritating the Shedeur sexuals, the prime sexuals, the people that get upset when I talk about Shedeur Sanders. But Chase Daniel, the former Missouri quarterback, longtime NFL backup quarterback, who does a great breakdown of football and of sports on social media. He showed some tape of Shedeur Sanders on I think it's the first interception he threw. And this tape, the Chase didn't go as far as I'm going to go, but this tape is all you need to know why I keep saying this guy's not a leader. He's not a guy you can build your team around. He's actually a poison and a toxic. And so we'll end the show with me putting another clown suit on Shedeur Sanders. I know that irritates a lot of you all, but I'm just trying to provoke the guy into something shaking him and something helping the Shedeur sexuals realize, like, man, this guy needs correction, not to be coddled and put into a little protective bubble. So before I get into any and all of that, you guys know what you need to do, but let me remind you, if you're listening over Apple, you got to hit that 5-star rating, and you got to do it right now. It's the great thing you can do. Not the greatest, but it's the great thing you can do to support me and this channel. If you like the kind of content, the kind of honest conversation we have on this show, you gotta hit that 5-star rating on Apple. The next thing you need to do, and it's probably the most important thing you need to do, you need to say, hey, it's Christmas season, and you need to be, hey, what am I going to do extra special for my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? And I've got the perfect gift, the perfect stocking stuffer for your Lord and Savior, and that is a gift, a donation to PreBorn. PreBorn is the organization that supports life and supports our worldview that life begins at conception. PreBorn provides expectant mothers who are considering abortion, they provide that mother with an ultrasound. Once they introduce that baby's heartbeat and an image of that baby in the womb, the mother is now statistically twice as likely to choose life, and that's when PreBorn steps in and steps up and supports that mother and child for up to 2 years. This is why we give to PreBorn, because we know that life begins at conception, and we know that it's our duty to fight the abortion industry. No group, no charitable organization, no organization fights the abortion industry better than PreBorn. There's 2 ways to give to help them pay for the $28 it costs for each ultrasound. $140 will get you 5 ultrasounds, but there's 2 ways to give. Dial pound 250, say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, keyword baby. Or give the way that I prefer to give, preborn.com Fearless. First person on your Christmas list should be your Lord and Savior. Give right now. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into today's show. The Pittsburgh Steelers win last night 28-15 over the Miami Dolphins. And this whole game last night, from start to finish, and then particularly at halftime, it was all a defense, a justification for why the Pittsburgh Steelers are so reluctant to move on from Mike Tomlin. That, to me, was the message of last night's game. As the Steelers move to 8-6, they're the leaders of the AFC North. They appear to be headed back to the playoffs. Their finishing schedule is Lions, Browns, and then they finish the season with the Ravens, which the control of the AFC North may be on the line. But last night after I watched that game, I was like, I get it. This is why the Rooney family won't give up on Mike Tomlin. And it's not so much what the Pittsburgh Steelers did last night, although the Pittsburgh Steelers did play well. And Aaron Rodgers had a vintage Aaron Rodgers performance. And there was reason for, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers, like, hey, man, if we're going to get this version of Aaron Rodgers, there's reason for hope. If Aaron Rodgers in this offense, if A-Rod is going to go 23 of 27 for 220-some-odd yards, 2 touchdowns, passer rating of 125.9, if he's going to be that guy, we got a chance because the AFC is wide open. I mean, the Denver Broncos, to me, are the best team in the AFC, but you tell me the Pittsburgh Steelers on the right night couldn't catch the New England Patriots slipping, couldn't catch the Buffalo Bills slipping, couldn't catch the Jacksonville Jaguars slipping. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the Chargers, the Houston Texans, they could catch any of these teams slipping. And so that's, and I hear you, man, we're tired of Mike Tomlin. It's Super Bowl or bust. He hasn't been to a Super Bowl in this many years. But here's what NFL owners think and know. I could fire Mike Tomlin and end up with Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel, the coach of the Miami Dolphins, put another clown suit on himself and was a visual reminder of the value of Mike Tomlin. Things could be worse. You could run out here trying to chase the perfect coach and end, oh, look, Mike McDaniel, he drew up plays. Look what he was a part of in San Francisco. The Miami Dolphins, we're going to, because McDaniels qualifies for the Rooney Rule. I know he doesn't look half black, but he is half black. His dad is black. And you go out and hire him, you have to give up, or not give up, but the 49ers get rewarded a conditional third-round pick. And you've got Mike McDaniel who draws up plays real well. I couldn't find this clip, but I saw it in real time. His interview coming out of halftime. And I was like, someone sat down and talked to this guy and said, hey, he's our head coach. He's a leader of men in a violent, primitive game. And they do this consistently. You end up chasing, and again, you should pursue excellence. You should pursue improvement. You should want better. But you better realize that what you got maybe isn't all that bad. And maybe you can tweak what you got. And I know Mike Tomlin's been in Pittsburgh forever. But I'm just, if you're an NFL owner and you sit around and look around the league and look what other people are dealing with and look what other coaches are doing, if you look at the fourth quarter performance of the Miami Dolphins, and here they are desperately trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. And Mike McDaniel is standing on the sidelines as this offense has a lackadaisical, they're down 3 scores, and they got this lackadaisical approach to the entire fourth quarter. Troy Aikman called it out in real time. Let's play the clip. That's just a taste. Aikman continued to rip them and point out, like, what are they doing? And you look at Tua, you look at McDaniel, and you just look at that entire organization. And that's why people sit around and say that Mike Tomlin has a lot of value, because here we are at the end of the season. Aaron Rodgers, to me, just had his best game of the season. Pittsburgh played with some urgency and energy and intensity that befit what time of the year it is and the desperation. And so Mike Tomlin may not be a strategic genius. Mike Tomlin may not know how to hold players accountable. But Mike Tomlin knows how to get players to play. He knows how to inspire a team. His team rarely looks like, man, we really don't want to be here. And that the Miami Dolphins, particularly in the fourth quarter, but throughout that game, look like, and I know Miami doesn't play well in the cold, but just the strategic blunders, the lack of improvement from Tua Tagovailoa, I'm just telling you, and we're about, Jay Skapanac's going to come on and join me, but Jay, because he can't stand Mike Tomlin. He's from Pittsburgh. He's a longtime Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I just want to have this conversation about, hey, man, be careful what you wish for. And I know that the Pittsburgh Steelers have basically had 3 coaches in the last 40, 50 years. And so I get how they feel like, hey, man, we can plug anybody in here. Chuck Noll had success and won Super Bowls. Bill Cowher had success and won a Super Bowl. Mike Tomlin had success, won a Super Bowl, had another Super Bowl appearance. I get, as a Steeler fan, it's just like, hey, man, we can do better. We always do better. When we pick a new coach, they're all going to have success. We just need a new voice in here. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure if and trust me, I have a lot of criticisms of Mike Tomlin. And I if the Steelers move on from Mike Tomlin, I won't be throwing up a cape and or throwing a tantrum or calling it racist or saying I can't believe they did it. I get it. Andy Reid moved on from Philadelphia and went to Kansas City and won 3 Super Bowls and put together a dynasty. To me, the fact that Mike Tomlin won't move on speaks to a lack of confidence on his part, that he should have just wanted a change of scenery. But Tomlin's response would be like, hey, man, if Andy Reid had been working for the Rooney family and had been working for what Mike Tomlin believes the best organization in all of football, maybe the best organization in all of sports, Tomlin might be arguing that, hey, look, Andy Reid wouldn't have left Pittsburgh. It's easy to leave Philly. Philly fans are jerks. The organization's not run as consistently well as the Pittsburgh organization. But I'm telling you, and I know Scap's going to rip me, and I already know what he's going to say. It's like, hey, man, you can't just look. Just because Mike McDaniel's bad doesn't mean Mike Tomlin gets to keep his job forever. But there's a lot of bad coaches out here, and these owners and ownership, they are reluctant to let go of a coach that in this era where the players make all of this money and it's hard to motivate these players, they're reluctant to let go of a guy that come December, mid-December, that he can inspire. He can get 40-some-odd-year-old Aaron Rodgers and this Pittsburgh team to come out on a very cold night and play a very strong, intense, physical game of football, put the Miami Dolphins, who had won 4 straight, down. This, again, December, and I know I can hear it all. And I'm going to quit taking the words out of Scap's mouth and let him make the argument. It's like, hey, Jason, it's great what Mike Tomlin does in December. Our concerns are about what he does in January when the playoffs happen. But anyway, I just wanted to start there with a defense of Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. They finished with the Lions, and I may regret everything I just said come this Sunday. Dan Campbell and the Lions may come in and put a clown suit on Tomlin, and I may regret what I'm saying here. But I think the Steelers showed signs of life, signs of like Aaron Rodgers has gotten comfortable, and they figured out how to squeeze some points out of this offense, because Miami's defense came into this game playing pretty well. Pretty well. All right, so we'll get to Jay Skapinac, let him start in on his rebuttal, let him start clowning me. Before we do that, though, I want to remind you guys about the supplement that I think could improve many of your lives, could help you with your inflammation that's compromising your mobility and making you think, hey, I can't do what I used to do. Relief Factor. It's a 100% drug-free daily supplement that fights inflammation. I use it. My friends use it, particularly Jeffrey Steele. I've told you guys about Jeffrey. He's 64. He's out there right now. While we're sitting here gabbling and gossiping about football, he's on a bike doing his 30-mile bike ride at 64 years old. He can do it because of Relief Factor. Relief Factor has a 3-week quick start program that's just $19.95. That $20 that's stuck in your blue jeans somewhere can get you a 3-week quick start that will let you know if Relief Factor is a solution for you. There's 2 ways to get it. You can go visit the website, relieffactor.com, or you can call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4RELIEF, or visit relieffactor.com. I've been using it. Friends have been using it. This stuff actually works. 70% of the people that try the $20 3-week quick start, 70% of those people circle back and re-up and get the full package because they're already experiencing the benefits of Relief Factor. So for just $20, you can find out if you can get help for that inflammation. Then you can circle back and re-up like the rest of us. All right, stay tuned. When we come back, Jay Skapinac is going to join us. Skap Attack. We'll talk some Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll talk some NBA basketball with Skap. Next. They can make anything sound good. The words that I'm saying right now on this show, they can put a beat behind it, beat behind it, beat behind it, beat behind it, and put their sales team behind it, and put their television industry behind it, and put their internet algorithms behind it, and make the words that I'm saying right now into a rap song. Beat behind it, beat behind it, beat behind it. That the idiots in the world, and I'm talking about me and everybody else, we will buy it and call it great. Beat behind it, beat behind it. The music industry doesn't reward talent, not the American music industry, not the world's music industry. It doesn't reward talent. It rewards the promotion of degeneracy. All right, welcome back. Without further ado, Jay Skapinac, welcome into the program. Because Mike McDaniel was so bad, I was impressed with Mike Tomlin last night. And because Aaron Rodgers was so good, I was impressed with Mike Tomlin last night. Skap, I'm going to let you attack and fire back. Am I crazy?
Yeah, stunning win last night, Jason. Stunning. They beat the juggernaut Miami Dolphins. It was about 12 degrees in that game last night. Tua has never won a game in his entire professional career where the kickoff temp is below 40. So the Dolphins, yeah, that was a shocking, stunning win last night, Jason. I got to give that to you. And Mike McDaniels, a guy who many thought wouldn't make it out of the first month with his job this season, is making Mike Tomlin look good. Great, stunning points by you. I must admit.
Aaron Rodgers went 23 of 27, and there were signs of hope that this offense has finally figured some things out, and Mike Tomlin gets no credit for that.
Well, while we're giving Tomlin credit though, let's bring some context here. They're going to make the playoffs at 8-6 because their division is lousy. Lamar Jackson missed like 4 games. The Ravens have fallen off a cliff. Joe Burrow missed 9 or 10 games. The Bengals have fallen off a cliff. And then the other team in there are the Browns. Enough said with your boy Shedeur. That division stinks. So the reason the Steelers are going to get in the playoffs in the first
Hold
place
on.
is
Do we have a
because
bad connection? Do we have a
stinks.
bad connection? Because the question I asked, Scap, was Aaron Rodgers looked really good last night, 23 or 27. They figured some things out offensively. Does Mike Tomlin get any credit for that? Now, go back into your rant, but at some point, answer that question. Go ahead.
Are you asking me if Mike Tomlin gets credit for a four-time league MVP in Aaron Rodgers playing football at a high level? I'm gonna have to say definitively no to that. I'm gonna give Aaron Rodgers the credit for Aaron Rodgers. Again, four-time league MVP Aaron Rodgers looking good last night. Let's see what Mikey T can do, the defensive genius that he is. Let's see how he can run that defense into the playoffs because look, you said it. They're probably going to get the Bills. I would estimate they're going to play the Bills in the first game, and it's probably going to be definitely going to be in Pittsburgh. If they luck out and get the Chargers, Tomlin might actually end this national nightmare of a decade winless streak in the playoffs because the Chargers are going to have to go to Pittsburgh. Despite real quick sidebar rant right now, Jason. Despite the fact, why do these teams have to go on the road to these middling teams that win these garbage divisions? It doesn't make any sense. The bum ownership have to stop being cowards and vote through. It was up for rules change. It was up for the vote with the rules committee. The ownership didn't ratify it. That your division win doesn't get you home field advantage because why should you be rewarded? Why is a team like the Bills or the Chargers going to have to go through a harder division, playing a harder schedule, and then go on the road in the playoffs to play in Pittsburgh? It makes no sense. Even with Tomlin getting that baked in advantage, though, from being in his middling, lousy division, he's still likely going to get boat raced by the Buffalo Bills in that first game. Watch and see, Jason.
I want these young guys I want to educate them on what you just heard, Luke, Peyton. Do you understand why he went off on this sidebar to distract from the actual question and point that I made? And he has to now, division winners have been getting home playoff games, I think, since the beginning of the NFL. This is you talk about something not being a mystery, these are the rules, and we're not going to overturn them. And what he also slipped in there was that, hey, he somewhat expects Tomlin to win a playoff game because he thinks they play the Chargers, Tomlin will beat the Chargers, and Jim Harbaugh, who has a hell of a reputation as a coach. Look, I'm not a huge Tomlin fan. Everybody knows that. I don't, but the only point I'm making, did Scap see my
I,
hope
I was on
and
your open, yeah.
did you see my hope and unchanged graphic? What I'm saying is like what all I'm saying is that Mike Tomlin has provided a tiny bit of hope with last night's performance, with the energy they played with, the way they shut down that Miami offense and Tua Tagovailoa, and the way the offense played. This Gainwell was kind of a fascinating, piece to go along with. Obviously, DK Metcalf. I thought they found some things in the passing game, and maybe it's hey, maybe Miami's just complete garbage. But I thought they found some things in the passing game that will apply to the rest of the season. And Shaq, we will do this next Monday or Tuesday after they play the Lions. If they beat up the Lions this coming week, would you have to admit, hey, this is coming to a positive? The season's ending on the regular season's coming to a positive conclusion. No.
Jason, this is fool's gold. It happens every year. For the last decade, this guy wins more games than he's expected in the regular season. Therefore, we continue to live in this mindset, which you talked about in your open. Well, what happens if we move on and it doesn't go well? We could do a lot worse than Mike Tomlin. But let me just present this to you, because you brought up the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me take that case, that kind of topic real quick. They fired Andy Reid, who, for all intents and purposes, is a better coach. Resume point stacked for resume point. He's better than Mike Tomlin.
At this point, that's accurate. But he left there without a Super Bowl victory. But go ahead, Scap.
But they fire a legendary, like a Hall of Fame coach in Andy Reid. They move on.
He was not a Hall of Famer when he left Philadelphia, but continue.
I think you can make a case that he was. If you look at his tenure with the Philadelphia Eagles and all that he achieved.
Give me the comparable. Give me the coach that's in the Hall of Fame that never won a Super Bowl. Is Don Coryell? Eric Coryell? I don't think so.
All right, if you want look, I can do a Super Bowl for Super Bowl comp in the fact that Mike McCarthy has been fired from 2 jobs, Jason, and he has an identical resume to Tomlin. Their win record is identical in the regular season. They have an identical playoff record. McCarthy won a Super Bowl against Mike Tomlin head to head. He's been fired from 2 jobs in the span of time that Mike Tomlin has not been. But using real quick on the Philadelphia point. They fire Reid. They get Doug Peterson. Peterson goes on and wins their first Super Bowl ever, Jason, ever. In the entire modern era since the AFL-NFL merger, the Philadelphia Eagles, a moribund loser franchise, had 0 Super Bowl championships. Doug Peterson goes on, wins them their first in spectacular fashion with a backup quarterback against Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in a shootout. And then the Eagles were so eternally grateful that they fired Doug Peterson 3 years later after he got them that Super Bowl. They move on to Nick Sirianni. And guess what, Jason? Now Nick Sirianni won them a Super Bowl, because you have to be both. Fortune favors the bold. You have to... Look, the goal isn't to win half of your games or to make the playoffs. It's to win Super Bowls. One final real quick point with John Fox of the Denver Broncos in the early 2000s. This guy won a division in his first year as the head coach there with Tim Tebow as the starter. They went 8-8. He won the AFC West, and they beat Mike Tomlin in a playoff game with Tim freaking Tebow as the QB. That summer, Peyton Manning comes in. They go 13-3, 13-3, 12-4. That's 4 straight years for John Fox. 4 division crowns, 2 AFC championship berths, 1 Super Bowl appearance, and guess what happened at the end of that 4th year at 12-4? Fired, because the goal wasn't to be competitive. The goal was to win Super Bowls. So they bring in Kubiak, they win a Super Bowl because fortune favors the bold. The Steelers they're not being courageous in making these changes. They're living in the past. And they're going to continue to lose as long as they employ Mike Tomlin. I'm not doubting that he's a great coach and like 26 other teams would be tripping over themselves to get him. But it ain't it in Pittsburgh anymore. The message is stale. He hasn't won a playoff game in 10 years, and it's time to move on.
Scap, that was good. that was good. I kind of regret inviting you on to discuss this, but I'm just Scap, this will be potentially the first time in 5 years that they've won 11 games. They went 12-4 in 2020. And I know that's I regret even making this point because you've already covered this. let me just. Well, I've already asked the Detroit Lions question, but I am going to go back to it again. If he won 2 playoff games this season, if he did, if he won 2 playoff games this season, would you adjust your opinion?
Me personally, again, I think it's time to move on. I don't know why this guy wants to stay there. He is getting absolutely dragged by the local media and the fans there. I don't know why he wouldn't just sit back and say, hey, I'm Mike Tomlin. I have 25, 26 other organizations that would be falling all over themselves for me. I'll show them it's time for me to get a change. To me, even if he gets into the AFC Championship game, I'm ready to sever ties with this guy. But to your point, if he gets into the AFC Championship game, there's no way they're getting rid of him. If he wants to stay, and if he wins 2 playoff games, he'll probably get an extension in the offseason this season. So yeah.
Scap, there's very few arguments that I have to admit in real time that I lost, but I lost this argument, and I kind of regret challenging. It would be like if you challenge me on the Indiana Pacers. I'm a lifelong Pacer fan, and that wouldn't go well for you. If you challenge me about Ball State, I mean, I would just and I've challenged you about the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin, and I've lost. Let me recover for a second here, and we'll move to basketball. Man, I just got my brains beat in on my own show. That's why I'm very happy that I have some CB Distillery products here. The gummy chewables are going to help me sleep tonight. The holidays are hectic. Family drama, last-minute shopping, and late nights can make the holidays feel like endurance tests. That's why I'm sharing the Ultimate Holiday Survival Plan, CBD, from CB Distillery. This year, give yourself and everyone on your list the gift of better sleep, less stress, and pain relief with CBD from CB Distillery. I can speak authentically about the gummies that help me sleep because I've been having trouble sleeping. There's a lot of heavy stuff on my mind, a lot of heavy stuff I'm getting challenged about, personally, professionally, the whole 9 yards. Thank God I've got CB Distillery to help me out here. This year, give yourself and everyone on your list the gift of better sleep, less stress, and pain relief with CBD from CB Distillery. And with my promo code FEARLESS, you can save 25% off on your entire purchase. Visit cbdistillery.com. Enter the promo code FEARLESS for 25% off. That's cbdistillery.com, promo code FEARLESS at cbdistillery.com. All right, let's get back to Scap. Scap, take it easy on me here as we talk some basketball. LeBron James, have you seen the video of LeBron James pushing and shoving and bickering with the referees? Let's play the clip, and then do we have that video? Yeah, let's play that video, and then me and Scap will discuss it.
And Brooks, James jawing at Brooks. Brooks walking away. Dillon's already got one technical foul. Walking away. Dillon's already got one technical foul. James is heated.
Listen, you have me, or I'm in devil's advocate mode for some reason today. And I watched this video, and I was like, oh, my first thought was, oh, man, LeBron actually cares about a basketball game, and he's showing some emotion because he cares. And, yes, maybe he went too far with it, but that was my thought, is like, hey, man, everyone says he doesn't really care. He's not into what the Lakers are doing. But here's proof that contradicts that. He still cares. What was your reaction?
I mean, my reaction is honestly, it's a little tamer than some people suggest with what we saw in that video clip. I don't think it wasn't as bad as it looks. I think slowed down, or if you capture it at a certain freeze frame, like, it looks way worse than it actually was. It was just incidental contact. I wasn't necessarily screaming from the mountaintops that he needed to be ejected for that kind of incidental contact in the heat of the moment. I think, Jason, the bigger issue is just LeBron James's team, the Lakers, and the relationship that they have overall with the officials. It's an ongoing narrative for the last 4 years, and it really is glaring when you look at the free throw disparity. Right now, I think they shoot the second or third most free throws in the NBA. They give up the second least to their opponents. And that is basically every single year for the last 4 years. Now, over the last 4 years, including this one, they have shot 1,460 more free throws than their opponents. So that is the differential of how many more they've shot. Number two over that span of time on that list for differential is the Milwaukee Bucks at plus 699. So what I'm telling you here is the Lakers are doubling by nearly 700. The differential between them and number two is more than number two on the list. So there's a lot of people claim that the league is rigging for the Lakers or are trying to make it so that the Lakers can get, as many wins as they can, get as far in the playoffs as they can, because one, it's a huge market, it's a popular team, and it has LeBron James on it. And these conspiracy theorists have this massive number that is just glaring to look at. 1,400 more free throws than their opponents. Like, it is shocking to look at. And the fact that they barely win games, Jason. They have a plus 1.5 differential right now overall for the season. That's nowhere near the top three teams in the league in Houston, Denver, and Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City has a 16-point net differential. Both Houston and Denver are plus 10. The Lakers plus 1.5 mirrors the Golden State Warriors, who are like plus 1.3. They're going to win 40 games this year, Jason. The Lakers are tracking to win 60 because they're getting these massive free throw differentials night in and night out. So to me, I think we're focusing too much, forest for the trees. Let's not worry about that incidental contact that LeBron had with that one official. Let's worry more about the overall trends right now with the officials and how they're dealing with the LA Lakers.
And so here's the team that's getting the most favorable officiating in the NBA, but LeBron James is acting like they're a victim of bad officiating or unfavorable officiating. That's fascinating and interesting. And LeBron does a lot of flopping. It's another strike against LeBron James. I'm not. This is what. Obviously, I mean, you put it off on other people, but do you believe the NBA is intentionally favoring LeBron James?
There's no doubt. You can't, when you look at the amount of free throws they attempt over the last 4 seasons and the amount that they give up, there's just no doubt about it. It's not like they're taking like a crazy amount more drives than their opponents or that they're playing less physical than their opponents on the other end. There is something undeniably happening with the whistle that they're getting. It's astounding when you look at it again. 700 more free throws than the next person in terms of best differential for the last 4 years. They're just trying their best, Jason, to get the Lakers into the playoffs and or get them the highest seed line they possibly can to try to get them to advance as far in the playoffs as they can. But not even that is been beneficial enough for the Lakers because they keep losing in the first round. Like, they finally got the 3 seed last year and they still lost in the first round to the 6-seeded Minnesota Timberwolves. So try as the league may, they're still not going to be, I don't think they're going to be effective enough in able to get the Lakers beyond probably the first round again this season.
We don't have this video, but I saw it this morning. There's video of LeBron practicing his golf swing during the game. Have you seen this video?
Yeah.
He's on the sidelines during the game practicing his golf swing, and that's, again, where the contradiction for me. He's yelling and screaming about a call he didn't get, but as I sit here and think it through, that's not about the Lakers. That's about, hey, I'm used to getting preferential refereeing. Let me throw a tantrum. You're not giving me the preferential refereeing. And then the practicing the golf swing during the game on the sidelines, that probably is an indication of how little or how disengaged LeBron is.
Yeah, and in that instant where he was arguing with the officials, that was a very contentious game with the Suns, and in particular Dylan Brooks, who is individually a LeBron James like agitator, and they were really clashing all game. They were getting technical fouls back and forth, and Dylan Brooks was disrespecting LeBron all game long. So I think maybe LeBron was more worked up about that kind of exchange than any larger trend that was going on with the team. I really don't think this guy cares if his team wins or loses at this point of his career.
All right, I'm going to move on to Cooper Flagg dropping 40 last night in an overtime game with the Utah Jazz. Cooper Flagg was supposed to be kind of a great white hope character, and there was supposed to be some Caitlin Clark-like interest in him. I don't think any of that's true. I think he's off to a good start. I think he's a promising rookie. But I think most people don't care that he's a great white American basketball player, that it's a nice little interesting story that he had 40 and, he's the youngest guy to post 40 in the NBA. But something's off here. The NBA is so uncompetitive. The era is so soft that people aren't that impressed that he got 40. And maybe people have turned off the NBA so much they don't care that there's a great white American basketball player.
Yeah, this story is going extraordinarily underreported. I was thinking, oh, gee, I guess it's probably time for myself to make some kind of a video about Cooper Flagg because I barely talk about him either. It wasn't just last night, Jason. And again, he is still 18 years old. He graduated from high school in 3 years. So he essentially is a year ahead kind of where he's at than where he should be. He should be a freshman in college this season. Instead, so we don't see any of these jumps from high school anymore since the NBA and college basketball enacted that minimum age requirement. You have to be 1 year removed from your graduating class. But he essentially is age-wise a direct from high school leap into the NBA. And it's not just last night. The last 7 games now, this kid is averaging 26 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists on 55% shooting in the last 7 games now. And the Mavericks, who stink and have half their team injured, are 5-2 over that span of time in those 7 games. And this kid doesn't turn 19 till I think in 5 days is his birthday, December 21st. So he's still an 18-year-old doing this. It actually is remarkable how good this kid has been in this snapshot of time, and specifically in basically the last month or so. But to your point, nobody really seems to care about it at all. It's like story number 12 right now in the NBA season at this point.
Why is that?
It's a great question. It could be somewhat because the Dallas Mavericks aren't that good. It could be somewhat because we're going to talk, I think, I'm not sure, I don't want to step on your toes, about the Oklahoma City Thunder and about how good they are. We have maybe a top 10 all-time NBA talent in his peak right now doing insane things in Nikola Jokic. So, I mean, there's just a ton of storylines, I feel like. And then still there is that LeBron James storyline, even when he's bad or the Lakers are bad or they're good. It doesn't really matter. He's still going to be like a massive, attention grabber and story producer. So I just feel like this kid, Cooper Flagg, who's right down there in, I think they're the 11th seed right now in the Western Conference, the 10th or 11th. So they're fighting for that last play-in slot. I think he's just kind of been lost on how good he's been in the last month or so.
Let me, and my perspective may be skewed because I had an abnormal obsession with the WNBA. But it feels like right there in Dallas with the Dallas Wings, the WNBA and ESPN were able to drum up interest in Paige Beckers. And it's almost like Paige Becker's rookie season is a bigger deal than Cooper Flagg's rookie season. And it speaks to what's wrong with ESPN, what's wrong with the NBA. Do they not know what they're doing, or have they lost the ability to drive a narrative just about someone's on-court performance, that there always has to be some nepotism, famous daddy, racial angle to it. It just seems like the star making ability. Some guy that's 18 years old and is doing what he's doing, even on a bad team, it just seems like it should be driving some legitimate conversation.
I agree totally. I think, and I don't understand why it is, because he's been on the national stage for a long time. I don't follow amateur basketball very much. I'm primarily all pro, but I have known the name Cooper Flagg for like 5 years. He's the national player of the year on the high school level. He's the national player of the year at the college level, again, as basically a senior in high school. He dominated that select game in Vegas. In the preparatory game for the U.S. Dream Team this year. He played that team with a bunch of youngsters. And from what I hear from like journalists that were in the closed session, he looked like he was one of the best players on the floor already at that point when he was 17. Now he's doing this at the pro level. I just don't understand why the press isn't there. But again, I don't want to infer any kind of make any racial statement about this. But Nikola Jokic is doing things that we've never seen before. And he's been doing it for about 5 or 6 years. And still, like, the NBA hasn't made that guy the center or the face of the league. Like, they're still fighting against Nikola Jokic. I barely see him on national airwaves still to this day. And so he's probably going to lose another MVP this season because he doesn't have the press behind him or supporting him in the way that I think that he deserves it. So again, I don't know if you want to draw any correlations or inferences about Cooper Flagg and Nikola Jokic, but for whatever reason, neither of those two guys get the amount of press that I think that they deserve.
You're forcing me to have other thoughts. I mean, again, it's like if Jokic or Cooper Flagg were lesbians, we'd make a big deal out of it. I mean, again, Paige Beckers, that's what makes her unique and worthy of worship, and all the commercial campaign. And maybe I'm not watching the right games or whatever, but once again, I'll say, like, the shoe companies and the product, I see Paige Beckers promoted more in commercials than I do Cooper Flagg. And and certainly that holds true. I write off the Nikola Jokic deal. Hey, he's a foreigner, and maybe they just don't want to do that. But here's an American kid that is doing things that seem to be unprecedented and seem to be pretty exciting, and he can't get any traction. It's rather mind-blowing. And I think I got one of my best friends is a hardcore NBA guy, hardcore. And he thought that Cooper Flagg was going to be a super big deal. The black dude, his name's Willie. He thought Cooper Flagg was going to be this big deal, and they were going to ride the Great White Hope deal and kind of force him down our throat. They're not doing that. And we will return to this discussion on another date. Before I get into OKC, though, Scap, did you have a final thought? It looked like you.
No, we can move on.
Before I get into that, I want to take care of a little bit more business and tell you guys about Conduit Clothing. Something I'm very, very excited about, partnering with these guys and hoping that we can promote them and people start wearing their apparel. Their values align with our values. You know what's missing today? Courage. We've got comfort, we've got convenience, but what we need is conviction. That's what Conduit Clothing Company is all about. They're not trying to be trendy. They're calling men and women of faith to stand up, speak truth, and live it out. Every time you buy something, even a $2 sticker, they send you a free hardcover ESV Bible to give away to your buddy at work, your kid's coach, the neighbor who's searching for hope. This isn't just about looking good. It's about living your faith out loud. If you're ready to live fearless and faithful, head to Conduit Clothing. That's CONDUIT clothing.com. You can enjoy 10% off by using the promo code FEARLESS at checkout. Be bold, be fearless, be a conduit for Christ. Luke, Peyton, expect something from Conduit Clothing for Christmas. from yours truly. I'll give you guys a Bible. Anyway, Scap, back to you. OKC, they lost the other day to the San Antonio Spurs. I was about to say the Seattle Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs, and it kind of put a pause on a discussion that I wanted to have and people were starting to have. It's like, is OKC too good? Is there such a gap between them and the rest of the NBA that it's kind of making the NBA uninteresting? Is this a legitimate concern?
Well, look, we had this conversation last year throughout the playoffs, and you kind of thought I was being arrogant because I was steadfastly sticking to my preseason pick of the Thunder to win the NBA championship. But I expected this last year. They're kind of, I was a year off. I expected them to be this dominant, this overwhelming last season. They still, look, had a great season, 68 wins. They set the all-time differential record. They broke a 53-year-old record last year in setting that differential mark at 12.9. This season, their differential is 16.7. So they break a record that's 53 years old last year by a half a point, and they're obliterating it right now by 4 points. But I would say this, while they are better this year, and they look better than they were last year, I think the NBA is much better around them right now than it was last season. I thought the reason I said the Thunder were unbeatable last year was because the gap was so extreme between them and the next best team. This year, not so fast. Like the Spurs, I think talent-wise, talent for talent, and the way the team is built, probably they act as the best foil to the Oklahoma City Thunder, which we saw in this Emirates semifinal game in the in-season cup thing. Victor Wembanyama played in only 20 minutes, and they still won that game. But I have no delusions that the Spurs, as young as they are, as inexperienced as they are, like they can't win 4 out of 7 games against this Thunder team. However, Houston is built well to match up against this team into the playoffs. I think Houston's top line talent, I think their big three, if you will, is better than the Thunder's big three. Now the Thunder have much better depth. They have the better defense, but I think Houston can make it interesting. And then I keep mentioning this guy, Nikola Jokic. Jason, he has normalized a 30-point triple-double on extremely high shooting splits. Like, he's second in the NBA in true shooting right now by like 0.4 of a point. He's shooting 72% true shooting and averaging a 30-point triple-double. He is such a floor riser. Like, anything is possible around Jokic if they get healthy. Right now, they're the 2 seed. They're pacing for 62 wins. They've been without Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown, 2 of their 4 best players, for over a month. So with missing those guys for over half of the season, the Nuggets are still the 2 seed in the Western Conference. They have the number 1 rated offense, still even missing those guys by 2 points. I think they could contend better this year than last because their bench is so much better. That was the thing that killed the Nuggets last year in the playoffs. So while OKC is historically great and better than last year, so too is the NBA. I think the playoffs will be more interesting than people are expecting.
So what are they, 24-2 right now?
Yes.
Yeah, 24-2, and this huge point differential, but they have elevated the play and perhaps style of play among the other NBA teams, that there actually are some teams this year that you feel like can compete with them. Look, because one of the Pacers last year in the NBA Finals competed with them. And perhaps if, why am I forgetting my point guard? Halliburton, if Halliburton hadn't gotten hurt, who knows? But I also think, like with Halliburton and the Pacers, coaching, Rick Carlisle played such a big part of the Pacers' success. Emi Udoka and the coach, who did the Nuggets replace? Who's their new coach?
David Adelman, the son of legendary head coach Rick Adelman.
Yeah, the coaching of these contenders is on par with what OKC's doing.
Look, David Adelman, the jury is still out for me on him. However, I'll say this. They transformed their defense in the postseason with only a 4-game run-up in the regular season after they fired Malone last year. And before the Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon injuries this year, Denver had the second-rated net defense in the NBA. So I feel, look, they lost their 2 best defenders. Peyton Watson went down in the first 5 minutes of last night's game. He's one of their better defenders too. So this defense has been slumping lately. They're still finding a way to win, and Adelman has really done like a magic trick almost when you look at the net rating with Jokic on and off the court. They're only a minus 1.5 with Jokic off the court this year. I say only. They're plus 13.3 net rating with Jokic on the court. And they're only a minus 1.5. But last year, they were a minus 9.5 with Jokic off the floor. They were a minus 8.7 the year before that with Jokic off the floor. So basically, they were losing 10 points per game on average, like per 100 possessions when Jokic would be off, versus now they're basically playing teams even. So I credit Adelman for that as well. And you mentioned Ime Udoka. To me, yes, Ime is one of the best in the business. I think he can absolutely stack up with everything Oklahoma City can throw at them from a coaching standpoint. I think Ime is actually superior to the coach for Oklahoma City. So yeah, I think it's going to be, they're going to win. Jason, they're going to win 75 games this year. They're going to break the 2015-2016 record set by the Golden State Warriors. Their defense is too good. They have, based on league average, the best defense in NBA history by a large margin. Their depth is too good. The things they can present to you in a regular season setting, they're going to win the most games ever. But into the playoffs, I think just like we saw, remember what happened to the 73-9 Warriors that in 2015-16 when they set that record, they weren't that equipped in the postseason. They got taken 7 by the Thunder. I think the Thunder should have beat them that year. Then they went into the NBA Finals and lost to LeBron and the Cavs. So we could be seeing that same kind of setup now where this team looks unbeatable in the regular season, but teams are more positioned to compete with them in the playoffs.
Scap, I'm going to end this by giving you credit for not taking a cheap shot at me at the end of this, because you could have pointed out that Michael Malone won a championship, got fired, and the Denver Nuggets, in your opinion, have improved. You could have taken that cheap shot, but you didn't. You showed some discipline. I credit you for that. Thank you.
Jason, I'm a classy guy. What could I say?
You really are. You really are. Thank you, Scap. Great job as always. I got one more thing I want to get off my chest about Shedeur Sanders. Stay tuned for that. Before I get to Shedeur, I want to remind you all that if you're looking for Christmas gifts, Blaze has you covered. Blaze Xmas gift card. You guys need to tap into this. A full year of entertainment, no shipping, no waiting, no stress. $20 off using the promo code Fearless20, and you can get this instantly at giftblazetv.com. You want to support me, you want to support what we're doing, you want to support the Blaze, give a gift to someone in your family. Hey, you want access to Whitlock and everything they're doing over at Fearless? You want to see some fearless, bold commentary about the sports world, the political world, the cultural space? I know just how you can get it by becoming a subscriber to Blaze TV. It's the best way to support me, the best way to support this show. Go to giftblazetv.com, promo code Fearless, 20% off right now. Grab one today, send it straight to someone you love. All right, when we come back, I got a final thought, and hopefully I'll have some discipline here and this won't go on forever. But I got some thoughts on Shedeur Sanders and that Bears game, some final thoughts on that Bears game. Next. And many of these black professional athletes that want to run around with their little hip-hop victim mentality. There go the bad guys. They're the real bad guys. They think I'm the bad guy. But those are the real bad guys.
You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you.
As the NFL turns, starring quarterbacks Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, with special appearances from Commissioner Roger Goodell and coaches Andy Reid, Mike Tomlin, and the Harbaughs. Brought to you by the global elites.
All right, welcome back. Did you see this video Chase Daniel put out? He was analyzing Chase Daniel, the former Missouri quarterback, longtime NFL backup quarterback turned broadcaster now, puts out some great, unique content. He put out a video breaking down Shedeur Sanders' first interception in that Chicago Bears game. Shedeur misread a linebacker. Linebacker made a great play, jumped up, intercepted the ball. But you got to keep your eyes on, because this is a unique angle. This isn't what they showed you on TV. These guys get the all 22 tapes and start breaking down. Let's play the video that we have looped here so you can see what Shedeur Sanders did on that interception. So throws the ball, guy tips the ball. 10 guys on the Cleveland Browns start pursuing the linebacker that intercepted the ball. One guy stood and just watched and acted like he's above it all. One guy made the mistake and got the ball intercepted. 10 guys chased the guy that threw the ball. One guy named Shedeur just stood there. This stuff is on tape. That in football, we call it the eye in the sky never lies. And Shedeur's teammates are going to see this all 22. They've already seen it. And they've seen like, oh, this is our 5th round quarterback that just threw an interception. I believe the score was 14-3 at this point. It's in the first half. They're in the game. This isn't late in the fourth quarter. They're down 30 points and the game is over. No, we're in the heart of the game. They're trying to come back, and Shedeur Sanders throws an interception and then stands there passively, never makes another move, just looks at his mistake and says, hey, you 10 guys that share my uniform, you guys go figure it out. You guys try to fix the mistake that I made. This is why I call him Scam Sanders. He is cut from the exact same cloth as Cam Newton. Everybody remembers Cam Newton in the Super Bowl and the fumble he made. And his instincts were, let me go get the fumble. And then he remembered, hey, I'm Cam Newton. I'm not going to get the fumble. And he's been haunted, Cam Newton has, by that fumble and that lack of effort. And people talked about it. And again, that's in the Super Bowl. But every game for a 5th round pick, for a guy that started out the season as the 4th string quarterback, for the guy that they had to trade 2 veteran quarterbacks for, and then the 3rd round draft pick had to get injured, for the guy to get the opportunity, Shedeur Sanders is carrying himself and acting like he's Cam Newton, MVP of the league, signed one of the richest contracts at that time. He's acting like he was the number 1 overall pick in the draft. It's not that I can defend Cam Newton's effort in that Super Bowl going after that fumble, but I get it. There is a defense that could be offered up. Hey, he's their franchise quarterback. They're paying him all this money. He's the MVP. He's not going to risk injury in that situation. Now, most people will be like, hey, man, it's a Super Bowl. I got to dive on this fumble. But when you're the 5th round pick, every game, every opportunity, should be treated like a Super Bowl, and you want to demonstrate to your teammates that I'm a dog. I got that dog in me. I'm in the fight with you. I'm in the foxhole with you. I'll risk everything. Instead, Shedeur put it on tape that I'm above doing anything risky. Hey, I made a mistake here. It's you all's job to clean it up. That's not what I do. Shedeur acted like a spoiled, entitled kid who doesn't need football, who doesn't need to take the risk that everybody else takes. This is why many people were reluctant of bringing Shedeur in. They knew that because of Deion's discipling him and because of all the groupies that praise and are reluctant to criticize him for anything, that they knew that Shedeur would have some sort of wristband issue for a play or two, and that Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco and everybody else would focus on that and blame any and everybody. Well, he had a wristband problem. It must be Kevin Stefanski. It must be anybody not named Shedeur Sanders. They would focus on that rather than focus on a guy putting it on tape in front of the 52 other players on the active roster, the 10, 15 guys on the practice squad, the 15 guys on the coaching staff, the 20 people that's in the front office, that he'd put it on tape, his indifference to cleaning up a mistake that he made, that he's not really about this football life. He's not about the physicality of football and risking anything for his teammates. Shedeur Sanders has made it. He was born on third base, sliding into home plate. He's a spoiled, entitled kid that doesn't have to take the risk that everybody else does. He put this on tape. This video, put that video back up again, please. This video says everything you need to know about Shedeur Sanders and why people were reluctant to draft him, why people are hypercritical of him, because that's who Shedeur Sanders is. He's above it all. He's better than everybody else. And he's very comfortable letting everybody know 3 games into his career, a 5th-round pick is comfortable doing this in the first half of a football game. Show me where we've ever seen this from a 5th-round pick, a 4th-round pick, a 3rd-round pick. There are very few quarterbacks, no matter how high they're drafted, that this early in their career would behave like this. This is a video that you would expect to see from Phillip Rivers at 44, after having thrown for 30, 40, 50,000 yards during an NFL career. This is the type of behavior you might expect from Tom Brady, but I don't think you would get it from Tom Brady, even at age 40 or 42 or 43, whenever he retired. This is the behavior of the most entitled, bad leader to ever start an NFL game at the quarterback position. And I know that Johnny Manziel and Ryan Leaf and Jamarcus Russell, I know there's been a lot of guys ahead of Shedeur Sanders. But none of them have Shedeur's ego. None of them have a father who has a whole media army that's out there defending and caping up for anything Shedeur does. Shedeur Sanders, after putting that on tape, went to the press conference podium and threw Jerry Jeudy under the bus. No self-awareness. No leadership skills. No. People running around acting like this is the second coming of John Elway and there's so much physical skill. I don't know what you guys are watching, the physical skills are limited. He doesn't have that type of arm strength, that type of ability to put some real mustard on the football. He's guiding his passes. Yes, there's some accuracy there. But elite accuracy and being able to really spin the football, it's not there. He floats most of his passes. He aims most of his passes. This isn't the second coming of Joe Burrow. This isn't Patrick Mahomes. This is a guy with probably third-round talent and an undraftable personality, which those two combinations forced him into the 5th round. And the Browns and every other organization that wouldn't touch him until the 5th round, they were right. Scam Sanders. He's Cam Newton without the talent, but with all the attitude. Thank you for watching Fearless today. That's it, and that's all from me today. We'll see you tomorrow.